Now presenting Shylin Simmons, LogicMark.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. And my name is Shylin Simmons. I'm the CEO of LogicMark. Unfortunately, Mark Archer, who is our CFO, was unable to join us at this meeting. Just very quickly, some safe harbor. We will be making, statements that is forward-looking. So please go ahead and download our presentation from our website, where you can find all of this information and more on the company. So very quickly, investment highlights. We are in a growing there's a growing demand in our particular market that's ripe for disruption. I'll talk a little bit more about that. We are the only public company pure play in our category area. And so we have a GSA contract and a long-term relationship with the Veterans Administration that could be leveraged for sales, as well as additional governmental opportunities in the U.S. market. We are part of a new management team that came in June of 2021. This company has been around and has been public for quite a while prior to us coming on board. And we have a very strong balance sheet today with $10 million in cash and no debt. So a little bit about us. We are in the category space of what we call the personal emergency response system. Most people know it better as the I've fallen and I can't get up business. And so we have devices that basically help people age in place with confidence. So this company, LogicMark, has been around since 2007, and we really revolutionized this particular industry by incorporating a two-way voice communications technology directly into the pendant. And we were one of the first, and really one of the few, that actually has a product that does not require a recurring monthly billing, which is really a godsend for a lot of people who are in low income and fixed income who are the elderly. So the company's products are currently sold through the Veterans Administration, as well as direct to consumers and through a network of distributors and retailers. As mentioned, we have been around since 2005, founded by an engineer, entrepreneur. And the company 2016, NextID, which is the LogicMark company as a public entity, acquired this company in 2016. I came on board in 2021 to help pivot the company and really focus the company into the PERS as well as the sort of health communications aspect of the company. So what are we trying to solve here? We are in a $24 billion care economy market opportunity. In a business where more than 50% of people want to age at home, there's a tremendous amount of growth opportunity for a category of business. And we're talking about an audience of people who are very used to using technology today. What's interesting here is, of course, by 2040, there will be more than close to 1 in 4 Americans that actually will be 65 and over. Of that 65 and over category area, 1 in 4 of them will fall. And so getting them help within what's called the golden hour, the first hour of a fall, is crucial, because if you don't get them help, they're 80% less likely to have a better health outcome. And so we have been let's just call it a reactive technology company for a very long time, trying to get people help as quickly as they need to get better fall detection technology that doesn't think that you're dying every single time that you bump into something or you sit down too quickly. Many of you guys might have read the article recently that said, my iWatch thinks I'm dead. And it's because fall detection technology utilizing accelerometers and gyroscopes are wildly unpredictive. And so in those particular instances, for a lot of our competitors, they have these fall detection technology implemented, but a lot of the elderly, if you could convince them to wear these devices, will turn it off because it's constantly telling them that they're falling. In fact, myself, the reason why I'm really bullish about this particular company and joined was because I myself, as one of the 1 in 4 millennials and more than half of Gen Xers in the world today, many of you here, I'm of a sandwich generation. And I experienced my own elderly loved one actually sitting down too quickly at a restaurant in Oakland, and everything got quiet because her dependent just screamed out, "Mrs. Becker, have you fallen?" And of course, everybody turned and looked at her, making her feel that she was feeble and she was older when she was quite a vibrant woman, as she would say. And so this is the reason why people don't wear these devices, because the innovation has not occurred for the last 35 years since we've seen those ubiquitous "I fall and I can't get up" ads. At the same time that we're seeing that growth the silver tsunami, the 10,000 people turning 65 and over every day, we're also experiencing a particular sort of situation where we're seeing a shortage of caretakers in this particular market. In a 2019 report, by 2040, we'll actually experience more than 350,000, healthcare worker shortage in the in-home care space. And this is before COVID. And so we all know that those who worked in the healthcare industry are now tired. A lot of people went out of the industry now. And so that means that the shortage is potentially even greater. So at the same time that we have this tremendous need for people who want to age at home and are also turning 65, it's the same time that we're also seeing a shortage in terms of the people who can care for them. And it's a lot of burden on that 1 in 4 millennial and more than half of Gen Xers out there that really are relying on people and really relying on technology to help our elderly loved ones age with grace. So you've seen a lot of companies here today, and we all talk about basically bringing great technology to the industry. I come out of Google. I'm a great believer in a platform that's open and being really great at what you do, but also collaborating with people who are experts in what they do. You're never going to see me do blood pressure monitor sensors because that's an FDA-approved process and device. But we want to work with the best-in-class folks in building what we call the caring platform as a service. We call it the CPaaS system. You guys all know about SaaS, and so we are at that Maslow sort of hierarchy of need where people wear devices because they have to wear devices in order to ensure that they're safe in their home. We want to collaborate with a lot of other folks as well to gather data because, as you've heard me mention, we are and have been in the past a reactive technology. But what we're really trying to get to is being a predictive technology. And what does that mean? That means building the best-in-class proprietary hardware technology, HIPAA-compliant data, and machine learning and AI to help us actually gather health data so that we can actually hopefully better predict when you're more likely to have a fall, when you're more likely to have a health situation where it can lead to a fall. So instead of waiting for you to fall and then getting you the help as quickly as we can so that you have a better health outcome, how about if we just basically work on trying to prevent that fall? Today, our products, they're kind of ugly. And so they're serviceable and a little bit ugly. And they are actually utilized by more than 500,000 people today. And so they have a lasting charge of anywhere between 6 to 12 months because we know that our elderly customers don't remember to charge very often. And so they have no recurring billing fees because for a very long time, for a lot of folks, the idea of basically doing recurring billing, and even today at $39.99, $49.99, even as high as $79 to $89.99, it's out of reach for some of those audience members. And so that fixed product, no monthly fee product is a great fit for a lot of folks. In fact, it's such a great fit that we're the #1 provider of fall detection PERS devices into the Veterans Administration today. So we think that we can't rest on our laurels here. We actually need to be better. And so since we joined the company in June of 2021, we've been very active in terms of filing additional patents. We had over 20 plus patents at this company before. And in the 18 months that we've been here, we filed more than 7, 3 of which we're taking to final patents as well. Fencing off the competitors from this particular category space in environmental sensing, signal processing, tokens and privacy, as well as things like fall detection. And so it's important to do that because we're at the long and short of it, we're a technology company. Our business is just basically provide better technology to really innovate the business so that we become a disruptor in a business that has been for too long, relying on the fact that the entire community of people can just utilize old technology and be okay with it, right? We're the Apple innovators. So in those days when actually the first iPod came out, it wasn't that there wasn't any MP3 players out there. There just wasn't an MP3 player that had a better user experience and something that people are proud to sort of wear. And especially in this particular category area when most of the 1 in 4 millennials and half of Gen Xers have to talk their parents into wearing one of these devices. And nobody wants to wear one because it's god awful looking. It makes you feel like an old person. That makes a difference. And so we're building so what does that mean? So that means that this company since June of 2021, have been pivoting to be a software-first remote activity monitoring company that collects data for predictive analytics. using reusable building blocks, common platforms and hardware to build better tech and better scalable technology. And so working on the best-in-class embedded devices that people will actually want to wear, much like an iPhone or anything else. And actually now bringing back subscription model work, because when we first launched this company in 2005, subscriptions were not commonplace. And so as we do and move more into the consumer space, we find that in fact, customers, that 1 in 4 millennial and half of Gen Xers want to have a direct relationship and actually do that monitoring work themselves. And in fact, that 1 in 4 millennial and half of Gen Xers are currently trying to help their family and monitor their family as a care village by pulling together different pieces of software technology, using spreadsheets, text messaging, emails to gather together who's going to be on call for mom and dad today when they live in another state. A cohesive integrated technology infrastructure, kind of like the Apple ecosystem, does not exist today for people who are caring for their parents remotely. So, future of the products, hardware design, setting a new standard in industry, higher bandwidth capabilities for better response, quicker response. Enterprise technology products, that 1 in 4, when we talk about that shortage of more than 350,000, it doesn't mean that the need for professional care is going away. It just means that for that caretaker, they used to have to take care of 5 people visiting 5 homes. Now they have to do 10 or 15. And so how do you decide from an analytics point of view who to visit first? You should not do it by geography. You should figure out using our analytics system to say, Mrs. Johnson had less mobility, higher blood pressure, so maybe that's the person I should visit today because they're more at risk of a fall. And so that's really what that enterprise model looks like, as well as that need to push that type of technology from an analytics perspective into retirement communities as well. How do we differentiate? Today, as a public company, we're the only public purebred in this very interesting category space. We do have competitors, ADT Medical Alerts, Best Buy's Lively, for example, AT&T. I think Philips is actually out of the game now more. But all of them have core businesses that are under stress, and this is not their core business. And so the rest are in this sort of private equity space with a lot less transparency in terms of what they're working on. We have and continue to have, and we're very proud of, our B2G business. We're, again, one of the top providers of the PERS category product in the Veterans Administration, which is one of the largest hospital networks in the United States. And so we've only really penetrated, I think, 1/4 of that particular business, if not less. We think that we can grow that more. We have a GSA contract that we're very excited to extend into states and municipalities. If you look at the state of California alone, they put aside $8 billion for people to age in place. We don't know what to do with that money. We know how exactly they should be using that money to help people age at home, for example. So we're very excited to extend and continue to extend our B2G business. We very recently launched a D2C solution. This is 70% of the market generally. And so they need to have a trusted experience. We are a team that actually have a depth of experience around subscription modeling work. It's actually not for the faint of heart to do basically recurring billing and cohort analysis. It's not one that most marketers and business people know how to crack. And so it's one that, in fact, as a team of executives, we actually have a tremendous amount of depth and experience in. And finally, we have been and have continued to be in the B2B business, but now targeting larger business institutions like hospital networks, in-home networks, and retirement communities as well. Brand new executive team that came out of 2021. All of us, the single most important category area that we bring to this table is that we're folks who have implemented cloud-based technology IoT systems. In the case of Rafa Saavedra, our VP of Engineering, and myself, this is our 3rd stint rolling out IoT connected ML AI-based technology. Our first time working together was actually rolling out technology to Porsche, Honda, Subaru, into 50+ countries and millions of vehicles. And so, with AI ML-backed connected technology. And so this is our 3rd time doing it, and it's a little bit easier than to work with Porsche engineers. And so we're very excited to be doing this. And we understand what it means to roll out large enterprise technology. And all of the folks here, one of the major criteria when we went into hiring was that everybody has to have startup experience as well as big public company experience, because we are, in fact, I would like to call us a startup with a ticker symbol. So we should move as fast as a Series A company, but understand what it means to be a transparent public company as well. And I think that's crucial to have for any company of this size. And similarly, this is reflected in our board. We had an amazing board that hired me, and I was very excited to be joining the company. We also, however, brought in new board members. Folks like John Pettit, I call him the 4-time winner, took 2 companies public, sold 2 companies, the last of which was to Google. We believe that sort of expertise and capabilities from a technology and business point of view is crucial to have on a board. Barbara Gutierrez, $9 billion valuation, I think, although don't count me on that, public company CFO directly in our space in Avage, integrated care delivery system for seniors. And so she knows what that space takes, and we want to sell and are going into that particular category space. She's been an amazing sort of resource for us to have. So again, a lot of opportunities at this company. We really are excited to be bringing all of this technology into long-standing partners like the VA, as well as in-home care networks as well. And I'm very excited about our D2C experiences because we've hired the right team to do that. So, and this is sort of where our current metrics look like. Happy to take some questions that you may have. No? Cash position is great, $10 million in a bank, no debt. So we're trading probably at a fairly good clip right now as well. So a lot of volume for a very small company. Cap, you know, our position is actually less than our cash in a bank. Exactly. Well, definitely more than my salary, let's be fair. So, but less than what we have in a bank. And the reality is that, you know, we have quite candidly stayed really under the cover for the last 2 years, right? We were in a pivot situation. The company in the past had been a holding company for biometrics technology, for fintech, and a number of other businesses, and this is one of the businesses. So we actually had rolled off a lot of those businesses and focused on this category area, which we believe is the winner for the future. We're building it to the extent that I think anybody who is an executive at a company wants to do. We want to build a great business that really gets a really wonderful return to our shareholders. Do I think that there are M&A opportunities for this company? I think certainly any small cap company and micro cap company, not us included, are excellent acquisition targets for a lot of companies. I think it's extremely difficult to be a micro cap and small cap company. My own experiences in the past was that I was an executive at Audible, and we were a very small company. I think at the time we were trading around $4.50 on the Nasdaq, and I was part of the team that helped sell us from an M&A perspective to Amazon. And so typically, you know, these large companies, and I came out of Google myself, is that you're looking for technology that's complementary. And so my job is to build as much value and opportunity and sell as much of our technology as possible. And, you know, if we're a right acquisition for a company, then we're a right acquisition for a company, right? I'm historically have, you know, worked on things that's very similar, so I wouldn't, you know, rule that out as an opportunity, for example. So the acquisition for Audible for Amazon was an extremely fruitful one for both Amazon and Audible, right? So in our particular case, I think that, you know, the reality of this particular category space is a tremendous fit for a number of companies, everybody from Amazon to CVS, right? I mean, this aging population from a fraud sort of perspective, this is literally, again, when we talk about Maslow's like hierarchy of needs, you know, not falling is one of the number one things that you really need to look at, because we all know that the cascading sort of health issues that come from falls is exponentially sort of a challenge for most people who are aging. So typically people don't recover well from falls. And so we're extremely interested in pivoting a company from being reactive to predictive, right? Because that's really crucial for the success of, the elderly population that we're serving, which quite candidly is growing as well exponentially. So, this is not a niche market. When basically your audience members cover close to 1 in 4 Americans, it becomes a very large business. The question is, how do you serve that population well? And most importantly, ensure that they're going to wear these products. I will openly admit that our existing products are not pretty. And this is why a lot of people, and by the way, we're the best looking product out there to boot. And my standard coming out of tech and coming out of companies like Amazon and Google is that this is nice, but my mother-in-law, who is an art teacher 40 years, she's a stylish woman. No way she's going to want to wear that. And to be fair, as I'm aging, I'm not going to want to wear that either. And so how do we become the best in class of not just something that looks beautiful, that most importantly, that people want to wear because it protects them, but that we actually have the best technology out there so it doesn't think that when you're sitting down too quickly, that it's a fall. Because our patents are tied around 3-point technology, like more than multi-point technology, not just accelerometers and gyroscope, but our technology integrates things like a barometer, measuring distance, so that minimally as a geek here, you need minimally 3 points of data to ensure that you have a better triangulation of fall detection or any sort of measurement. And so most technology today utilizes 2. How is that a good, accurate measurement of falls, right? And so for us, we're really interested in understanding, speed, tilt, which is accelerometer and gyroscope, which is what everybody uses today. We want to talk about measurement of distance. We want to listen for whether or not it's a loud crash or a soft crash to understand what kind of fall it is, for example. Thank you. We want to be able to be in an environment where we can actually also provide technology that may not be a wearable, because we know that at some point you got to charge your devices and you might need to go to a shower, and while you could wear a product, you might need something that is not wearable in a shower, for example. So we're looking at a lot of different types of hardware and software technology. Gentleman in the back. No. So what is the disconnect between fundamentally how well we're doing at the company? So we've had really good sort of revenues every quarter, money in the bank, to the disconnect to the share price and where it stands today. I think it's an amalgamation of a couple of different things. I certainly think, and I can only sort of speculate myself, because who can really understand what's happening with people who buy stocks or don't buy stocks, right? I think that the marketplace for microcaps as a whole is depreciated, right? There's a number of really great operating companies in the microcap and small cap space today that are trading for less than really what they're worth overall. And that's just because I think there's a lot of investor sort of fear in the marketplace. And so when you have a large body of retail investors, it becomes much more difficult, because unlike larger cap companies where they have more institutional investors that hold for the long term, you have a lot more, retail investors who are much more active in their trading sort of experience because their positions are just much smaller as a whole. I think that certainly, we have been at this company for, as a new management team for the last year and a half, we have been stealth. We've operated like a stealth startup company, right? Because the reality of the past is that we've spent a lot of time talking about things and not delivering things. And I'm a firm believer in not delivering vaporware, right? It's 26 plus years of tech industry background means that I have a reputation to not deliver vapor. And so we have been under the table doing all the good work that we need to do to establish this company. And so as we're rolling into new product rollouts, you'll see us basically, we believe that the stock will basically appreciate tremendously because again, we will no longer then be stealth in the beautiful new products that we're launching, and the products that we are really feeling very solid about, that's net new and look different than other products in the industry. So I'm sorry, finally. Have we ran into any problems sourcing technology, or I'm sorry, sourcing parts and technology out of Hong Kong? So that's a very good question. Absolutely. I think that every company from Apple and ourselves have experienced that problem, but we have been able to navigate that because in many ways being a smaller company is easier. It allows you to shift your supply chain out of China and Hong Kong and all of those places a little bit faster, and allows you to buy in an open market in a way that is very different than when you need to buy 10 million ships, right? It allows you to be more flexible and nimble. So, thank you.